In closing, as America marks 250 years, immigration remains one of our most defining and debated issues. Understanding our own family history reminds us that the story of America has always been a story of newcomers, adaptation, conflict, and ultimately renewal. So how do we protect that?
It's something I needed.
Do you know what we need to defend?
The Second Amendment?
We need to defend the Second Amendment.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think we absolutely have to. Do you know what the Second Amendment is?
No, where in the Constitution does it say that we should give a shit about guns?
A well-regulated militia being necessary to secure a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm very passionate about it. I think that the Second Amendment is what allows America to stay free and to continue to be free against evil governments, your own government, governments from across the pond. All of our rights, all of our values are defended by the fact that we have the right to bear arms and we have the ability to defend ourselves. There's a lot of naysayers though, Gunnar.
Don't call me out. Don't call me out. We have some nuanced opinions on this. I would say, how do we start this conversation about the Second Amendment? I think it's a fundamental principle of the Constitution and the fabric of America. How do we start this conversation? Is it good? Is it bad? Does it need to be adjusted? Is it a little antiquated? I think those are fair thoughts.
Recently we were talking about immigration, and I think we had mentioned off the air how, the Constitution is supposed to be like a living, breathing document. So to your point, maybe sometimes you do need to sort of amend the words of the old document to sort of fit into modern definitions.
Right, because the Constitution is supposed to be a malleable document. It should be structured and for the times, right? We don't have the British knocking on our doors. There are threats, I guess, of foreign invasion, but it's pretty hard to do. But I wouldn't even say foreign invasions. I mean, if somebody breaks into Caitie's apartment right now, she says they're fireworks, but it sounds like gunshots. That's what she says. Just say the safe word and we'll come get you. But it's, should she have the right to have a gun to defend herself if somebody breaks into her apartment? I mean, I would say it's a pretty legitimate thing. Yeah. Is she worried about the Russian army invading her apartment and killing her? I feel like that's a little ridiculous.
Right. I mean, that's what our government has to worry about. Right? True. I mean, they're the ones with the big armies and the big militaries and the capabilities to be able to go and, save us from Russia.
True. They have the manpower. We don't.
Right. But it's more on a micro level. So, I mean, having the ability to protect yourself and in your property and your family, that's something that's on you. That's something that we shouldn't have to rely on others or especially our government to come and do. Because, the cops, they don't swear an oath to make sure that they're going to always be there to protect you. I mean, that's not their job. Oftentimes cops show up in time to, draw a chalk outline around a dead body, because bad things happen very quickly. And so a situation can turn pretty salty really fast. Way faster than a 7 or 12 minute, response time for the police.
Yeah. So do you think there's a benefit then for civilians to be armed in that sense to be able to mitigate threats?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that kind of what you're getting at? Yeah.
I think the ability to have that choice and the ability to protect yourself is what's important. You don't have to go along with it. If you want to put your life in the hands of other people, I mean, that's totally fine too. That's your prerogative. But that's why I think it's important that we have that right so that we can defend ourselves because we are a free country.
Yeah. So, Caitie, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the Second Amendment? If we pass the football around a little bit.
I was thinking about, in school when we were learning about it, and it was after the Revolutionary War, right?
What? A lot of things happened after the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. Oh. So during those times.
Yes.
I mean, where did those guns come from? People already had them, right? Or were they taken away? Did they not have guns? So I don't know, like, were they supplied? Like, I guess I just don't know enough about the history back then.
Well,
Like what prompted
The logistics of guns post-Revolutionary War.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people were handed out guns by governments because there was militias.
Yeah.
And like, neighborhood
Right.
defense forces and stuff like that before there was an actual like police type, thing
Can you
set up.
imagine somebody come into your house and be like, "Here, take this. You might need it. Like,
Right.
good luck."
Right.
Yeah, because a country that is like across the North Atlantic Ocean is coming to kill you, so you should probably kill them first. Because we decided we don't want to be a part of them anymore. So yeah, I guess that's
Yeah, I feel like if somebody came up to me and was like, "You may need this," I'd be like, "Okay, yeah,
thanks, bro." Right?
thanks.
Thanks.
How do I use it?"
How do I use it? Yeah. Which a gun in an uneducated hand is probably worse than somebody who knows how to actually use a gun.
Like,
yeah.
what do I do with these?
Yeah.
Right.
How do I get the musket? How do I get the ball in? How do I? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not shooting Glocks at each other. It's just like, oh, how do I stuff? Oh, you got to wrap it in a ball and then you got to stuff it down the barrel.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta-
It takes like 10 minutes to actually defend yourself back
to actually
then.
shoot yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Hang on.
But
hang
the
on,
British are
hang on.
coming.
Don't attack my family. Don't hang on.
Mhm.
Let me go get my
Hold
musket
on.
real quick.
Just
Where
wait.
are my beads?
Yeah.
Right.
While you guys load, I'm gonna load real quick. Just give me a second. Just don't kill my family.
Everybody's just like,
Yeah, jerking. Yeah, don't worry. Hey,
Just looking at
I
each
hit
other.
you. Yeah. Making direct eye. Oh, I'm gonna shoot you. I'm gonna shoot you real quick, dude. And then yeah. 5 minutes later,
hold on, you're too far away.
Yeah, and the bullet's gonna go. Meow. It's not even gonna probably hit him. But yeah. I mean, it's obviously a little different from them. But yeah. That's awesome.
I guess so people didn't like there were some people that were like, no, I don't want to have a right to bear an arm, or like, why did they even decide to like have it in the Constitution?
Yeah.
Like, why was it the second thing?
Well, I think the reason that they put it in there was because they wanted to make sure that the government was always held in check. They wanted to make sure that the government didn't have a monopoly over absolutely everything. And because they all had a bad taste in their mouth because they came over from England and they were subjected to whatever the royal family decided that they were going to do, whatever the kings and queens or whatever. And they never wanted to have that again. I mean, weren't different religions back then? They were getting persecuted. So, I mean, they left England, the Pilgrims, so that they could start a new world, a new free world, and protect themselves and future generations from government tyranny and, an abusive, oppressive government. And I think that's what sets America out these days, because we're really one of the only countries that's a true democracy and where the citizens actually have, freedoms. They have this Constitution. It's a living, breathing document that in theory is supposedly going to like adapt to, the ever-changing times, society, the advancements or whatever. I mean, that's why I think they wanted to make sure that was in the Constitution, that and freedom of speech. We don't want to have the government telling us what we can and cannot say. We don't want the government to be able to come and round us all up and massacre us all or make us slaves. They're not going to be able to do that if your entire village is former army people and now they're militiamen and they're their own defense force. So it's kind of like that checks and balances, which I think is something that gets taken for granted for these days. And I think it's kind of going out the window a lot with our checks and balances. There's a lot of times politicians are always trying to create new laws that are taking away personal rights and freedoms. I don't know. It's very interesting, but I think that's why they put it in the Constitution. The Second Amendment is, hey, you have the right to bear arms, keep your family and yourself safe from the government, foreign or domestic enemies.
I think it's a good point, foreign and domestic. Yeah, obviously, because nowadays, I mean, you could some of the criticism I think of the Second Amendment would be that obviously the foreign threats to our physical geography is pretty rare. I mean, Japan got close with Pearl Harbor, but only because we, took Hawaii. But other than that, when was the last time?
We took a lot of things.
Oh, we took lots of stuff. America, fuck yeah. But I would say, when was the last time we had a land invasion? Never. So it's a little dated in that regard. That's where would be the criticism of it in the text that it's given, at least. And don't, please, nobody quote anybody. I could be totally wrong on that, but like the text.
Remember, we're not experts here.
Yeah. Well, I pretend to be, but in the context of in the text, I understand it, but it seems like now the Second Amendment is more relevant, not with foreign nations coming over to take us, because we are so geographically advantageous more than any other country in the world. And we are the most powerful country in the world. It is domestically where the Second Amendment becomes relevant, because we do have to defend ourselves, because we have people on train stations stabbing random people. We have people shooting up schools. We have there's plenty of problems. So
criminals going to be criminals.
Criminals going to be criminals. But does the Second Amendment not kind of feed into that? Or not the Second Amendment. I'm not saying the Second Amendment is a fault of that, but our love for guns in America seems to be, I would almost equate it with
cowboys are real cool,
especially cowboys that play golf.
I don't even know what that means. Is that a reference?
It's an internet joke if you weren't paying attention.
So there's this.
Did we mention that on the
There's
podcast?
this guy that will shoot a golf ball and then shoot the golf ball with what was he using?
He's like a rifle, shooting shotguns.
Hitting it with an actual club?
Yes, it was basically like he was shooting off a clay pigeon, like skeet shooting. But he was teeing off.
He actually tees off.
He was teeing off, and then he pulls out his gun and he shoots the ball when it's like.
That's.
I mean, it's pretty
impressive.
Cool. Pretty
cool. Second Amendment. I mean,
I mean, he knows how to shoot. Like he can shoot a golf ball. Like
cool.
He also has like pro golfers hit the golf ball too, and then he'll shoot it too. Wearing a cowboy hat, and some tight jeans, and
thank God the founding fathers let that guy shoot that golf ball.
I would want that guy to protect my house and my family. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he knows what's going on.
Wrong. He knows how to shoot. Yeah.
He could shoot a golf ball. He could shoot someone accurately.
I think kind of the benefit with the Second Amendment too is that we got to keep in mind criminals. They don't follow the laws. So, I mean, you could ban every single gun. You could ban every single knife like they do in Europe or England. And
they still stab each other.
The bad guys are going to find the weapons. You know what? Heroin's illegal, but it's available. I mean, I'm sure we all know where we can go and get some right now. So it's not like just because there's a law.
Could have asked the guy at McDonald's today. Yeah, I could have found some.
Yeah, your little fence zombie friend. No, I mean, the criminals aren't going to follow the rules. So why should there be laws in place that prohibit the law-abiding citizens from being able to, keep themselves protected? That's just not fair. That's a bunch of crap. I mean, you should be able to have the ability to keep yourself protected with the same weapons that your aggressors are going to potentially have.
Right. And I would say that's a fair point to the defense of the Second Amendment is like, if you think of how many, I don't know the statistics, maybe if we had a fourth person or an AI to pull it up immediately.
Not
Jeff. Fuck Jeff. He almost left me stranded. But we're not going to talk about Jeff. The statistics on responsible gun owners versus like Sandy Hook people, you know what I mean? Like school shooters. Obviously, there's more responsible gun owners than there are lunatics who go shoot up a grocery store.
You can't judge millions of people based off the actions of criminals.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that's a good defense of like, you can't knock it because a couple people, a minority of people have exploited it, and a lot of times legally, like they've obtained weapons illegally and not gone through the process. You can't discredit the Second Amendment because some people found loopholes, and like that's at a federal level, that's at a state level. Some states have shitty gun laws, some states have really good gun laws. Like they're that's a difficult subject and more to unpack than we probably would here, but yeah. So I would say that's also fair too. Like you can't look at just school shootings and be like, oh, well, guns are bad because people kill kids.
Right.
But there's a responsibility. And I think, yeah, go ahead, Caitie. You're going to say
It
something.
says tens of millions of gun owners are in the United States. Recent national surveys estimate roughly 30% of U.S. adults own at least one firearm, representing about 100 million adults.
Wow, so only 30%. That's
72 to 79% of gun owners report protection as a major reason that they own a firearm.
right. And they're not going out, sniping people in Las Vegas. Well, that's the whole.
So I guess I don't understand the big debate and why there's certain political parties that are so anti-gun. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, the conspiracy-minded, cynical person within me is kind of like, well, that party is all about government oversight, government control, government overreach, and they want to disarm the citizens so that their government that they are so in love with can rule with an iron fist, and sort of not have any sort of repercussions for the actions that they may take. And that's where I start getting really angry and nervous, because it's like, I mean, that's a dangerous slope. I mean, once gun confiscations happen, bad things happen. I mean, there's always a gun confiscation before, governments turn on their people. And
my ex-husband had a gun, and I did not enjoy a gun being in the house. And I think it was more so because I don't think that he ever knew how to use it.
Just had one to have one.
Well, I don't know if he inherited it or something. I don't know. I don't know too much, but I wouldn't allow it in the house. But the golf guy, he knows how to use a gun.
Right.
I think that that's where my fear comes in with guns, is people not knowing how to use them properly and misfiring them and accidentally shooting themselves in the leg or something.
I mean, I'm a big fan of learning. I mean, I think education is key, and I'm a big 100%. Supporter of. I think children should grow up in a gun culture and learn about the risks and how to handle firearms, because there's going to be a chance that a child's going to be in a situation, maybe at their house, grandparents, friend's house, and they're going to see a gun, and they need to know to respect that gun. They can't just think it's a toy. It's not like a squirt gun or a Nerf gun or anything like that.
Yeah.
In fact, Tennessee now just came up with a law this year, and it's going to require gun safety courses to be taught in all public high schools. And I think that's awesome. I think that's something that, should be taught, because when you have education around something, it becomes a lot less scary, becomes a lot less taboo. And I think it can really help the gun violence, because there's going to be an awareness around it. People will start respecting it more as a tool, and a very important and dangerous tool. I think movies these days really sort of downplay, the severity of a firearm and what they can actually do to you. I think a lot of people are really desensitized.
I think that the education aspect of it too is a form of self-defense as well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in self-defense class in high school, we went over if someone were to approach you with a gun, going over disarming them and stuff. And yeah, the more you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helps you out. Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
They're dangerous tools.
There's a tip.
Yeah.
There's a tip.
There's your first tip. It's been a while. No, I think knowledge is power with anything, with any powerful tool, whether it's AI, guns, whatever it is. I think we could spend more time, if it's baked into our constitution and the fabric of apparently who we are, if this is who we are, then we would do better to educate them if we're keeping it, right? If we've repealed plenty of amendments, we've gone back. Women used to be able to have abortions, and that was federally protected. Now it's not.
Right.
We used to not be able to drink alcohol, and then that got repealed.
Right.
Well, so we can take it back, but then you give education. Like I'm saying, there's either if you want to keep it, then I think you have to spend the money and whatever it is, any sort of social infrastructure or whatever it is, to educate people on these things. Now, again, bad actors will make terrible decisions, and they will cause massive tragedy.
Right.
And that, again, coming to the defense of the Second Amendment, it doesn't mean that guns are necessarily bad, but I think it does. It's the person who pulls the trigger at the end of the day. right? It's
Well,
like
Yeah.
acid's bad, fire's bad, but it's not the fire's fault that you burned.
Right.
It's
Don't blame the spoon for fat people.
right. But I think at the end of the day, there is a bigger conversation to be had as if do we, yeah, well, we'll get into that. I'll leave it at that. But yeah.
But the couple of things to go back a couple minutes that you mentioned, abortions and drinking, those rights aren't actually in the Constitution. So there isn't anywhere written down on paper where it says that you're allowed to have an abortion or you can or cannot
abortion
drink.
was. Roe v. Wade was.
Was
And
that
then they
actually in the
banned-
Constitution?
No.
There's
Not
no
in the
amendment. There's no amendment that says that you have that freedom to do that.
Guys, you're going to have to
Jeff.
jump on there. Yeah, I wouldn't trust Jeff, but because he's a creeper. But no, Roe v. Wade, abortion was protected under the Constitution until it was overturned. Prohibition was the denial of alcohol, but that it was also overturned later.
Was that written down in the 14th Amendment or whatever, however?
Jamie, look it up.
Jeff says that there is no abortion amendment.
Right. There's not. There never has been.
Okay.
The Supreme Court.
Yeah, Jeff also told me the last train
protected-
that Caitie didn't have a train.
Abortion's not been in the Constitution because abortion wasn't a thing back in 1776.
Well, it was a landmark decision in which the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the Constitution okay, you're right. It's not in the Constitution. I misspoke. I will amend that. But the Constitution of the United States protected the right of women to choose to have an abortion before the point of fetal viability. So, no, not an amendment in the Constitution. I misspoke, and I will admit to that. But yeah, so we've not 100% an amendment, but we've obviously been able to mold the Constitution to what we think is right for the current time.
So, I mean, my point is, it was never actually one of the founding fathers' fundamental rights in the Constitution. Therefore,
it's not one of the first 10 amendments.
Therefore, it's not something that is completely protected because it's not on our original founding fathers' document, the Constitution. Same thing.
We've added amendments.
We've added it, yeah.
Yeah. So we can add and delete from that document.
Right. But you shouldn't be able to touch like the original, like what was on the original transcript. You can build off of that.
But wouldn't you argue, though, they made it so that it could be malleable? It could be fixed and updated and fine-tuned depending on where we were. Isn't that the beauty of the Constitution?
Well, that's what's nice about it being a living, breathing document. But that's why, though, in the Second Amendment, it says shall not be infringed. So therefore, you cannot ever touch the Second Amendment. It can't be altered. It can't be changed.
Okay. Well, then you know what? Actually, then that the abortion claim was a crappy, which I will admit was a crappy claim. Then prohibition's a better one. That was the 18th Amendment, which was ratified in 1919 and effective in 1920. And then we repealed it in 1933. So we brought an amendment to the table. We added to the Constitution. And then 12, 14 years later, do the math, guys, we were like, nah, this isn't a great idea. So we took it out. And it's specifically like, oh, we made a bad decision. Let's take it out. Yeah. And I'm not saying, but that's the beauty of the Constitution is that we can do that. We can be like, hey, let's add something in here. And then maybe a little down the road, we're like, fuck, that was stupid. Let's take that out.
It was like what Joel was saying. It's like when we came over and, tried to have our freedoms, we didn't want somebody to take them away again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we put it set in stone. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Quilled. It was quilled.
It was quilled.
Quilled on paper.
Yes, quilled on paper.
Quilled on paper.
We were evolved humans then.
Slightly.
Yeah, we weren't Romans or Greeks. Yeah, we weren't carving shit into stone. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting thing because I think it's malleable. I think it's a relevant subject. Is it necessary? I mean, well, I shouldn't say isn't. Of course I think it's necessary. But could it be refined? I think
it's a part of our country.
It's part of our country. It's what makes us free. It protects our freedom.
Yeah,
it's that checks and balances.
So is prohibition was a part of our country's constitution, and then we're like, that was a bad idea.
Does prohibition protect our life, our livelihood, and our freedom?
Probably repealed it because they're like, oh shit, like
we are pole. We pole.
Yeah, everyone needs to fucking drink booze. And again, it's a weak example, but
Well, then it went to how different local governments handled it. Like
Right.
the
Yeah.
town that I was born in was a dry town until the late 80s, or no, like the mid 80s, I think. Whenever my parents moved there, they were like, okay, you guys can drink again, but there were still like restrictions, like you couldn't buy alcohol on Sundays and like all the roping off the liquor at the Jewel Osco.
Yeah.
The county
Shout out
next to
Jewel
mine is a
Osco, friend
dry.
of the show.
Yeah.
County next to mine is a dry county.
And that's that's what they ended up doing with abortion too. They're like, all right, states, you figure it out. But I feel like there are currently, I know there are currently, different laws for each state on how they control responsible gun ownership.
Right.
Which I agree with it. Like, I think people should be educated. You should know how to shoot a gun if you own a gun. I don't think anybody should just be able to get a gun. Like, know how to use it, know how to protect yourself with it. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure people are naturally good at shooting things, but you should know the laws around it.
Right.
You should
it's important.
The whole point is protection. So, like, how do you protect yourself and your friends and your neighbors that you very much trust without knowing the proper ways to do it?
Yeah. And you should be educated. But then also, I guess then I would throw it to a different arm of the argument where it's like, okay, fine. So then a bad actor, which again, it doesn't necessarily defeat the defense of the Second Amendment. But if a bad actor decides like, okay, well, my parents are good legal gun owners, they're safe with their guns, but I happen to have found one somehow.
Then they weren't responsible gun owners.
Okay. Give me a little like leeway here with this. Should, whether they slip up or not, or even if they educate their children well, and they say, okay, well, this is how you use a gun, so you be safe with it. You obviously don't point at anybody. You go through the whole thing. You do the whole fucking thing. But a bad actor is like, you know what though, man, this is like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna do something fucking crazy, and I'm going to kill a lot of fucking people. That is, which obviously has happened. It's a real thing that can't be denied. Does the Second Amendment become problematic because how vague it might be, or because the responsibility of gun, like safe gun ownership, is on the individual? And I think that's a kind of a problem. Do you have, which again, how can you police it? There's so many people with guns. You can't just be like, well, Billy went to his dad's shed and found his gun, even though,
what about
Billy's dad's
taking
a great order.
The keys to the car and then driving it through a parade of people? Yeah. I mean, what's the difference in that? The car's right there. It's, the keys are in the drawer. Like, so if somebody wants to do something, they're gonna do it. They're gonna figure out a way. If they have a drive, like they're hunting or something like that, like they're just completely fucked in the head, they're gonna get it done.
But but again though, and again, I guess I'm not like trying to come at the Second Amendment. I'm trying to do it more subtly and slyly, like a fucking asshole.
Oh, that's fine.
But why is there such a problem in this country with shootings? Why is it such a fucking problem?
I think
why is it such a problem? And I'm not saying it's the Second Amendment's fault, but why is the problem? Is the person that's pulling the trigger? Health. Or is it? Yeah. So there's an underlying.
It's a disregard problem for your neighbors. It's because of the division that the media and our government sows within the population to cause us to hate each other. We're very black and white. It's left, right. There is no in between. You're either this or you're that. And if you're on the other side of the spectrum, I don't like you. But I think one of the things would be the Second Amendment, yes, can allow for that crazy person to have access to that gun. But guess what? It also allows people to defend themselves with the exact same weapons as well. So, yes, I mean, someone could take a gun and bring it to a school or to a church, but have armed security there. And it sucks that you have to have that in a school or at a church or something. But unfortunately, that's just kind of the society that we live in these days. I mean, it'd be no different than having a hired police officer there. You know,
but that's specifically an American problem.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Is America? It's the only country that matters.
Oh well.
What about the people that have like taped bombs to themselves and walked into places and just completely annihilated everybody?
I mean, if you make all the guns illegal, they'll find, to Caitie's point, they'll find the knives then. Or so now you can't buy knives.
Yeah.
Then you know what? You could kill someone with a baseball bat, a nail gun, a hammer. And I'll be straight up honest with all of you guys. I would much rather get robbed and shot in the head and die instantly versus somebody hit me over the head 30 times with a hammer and I bleed out and slowly dying.
Or stabbed.
If I were to choose how I'm going to get robbed and killed, I'm going to hope to God that they have a gun and that they're a good enough shot to kill me with one shot.
So the cowboy golfer would be
what this guy, friend of the show, whoever this fucking guy is. I've never seen him before. Good God,
a bug.
So yeah, I think it's kind of like the Second Amendment is like its own worst enemy. It kind of plays the devil's advocate towards itself because yes, it empowers potentially crazy bad people to do bad things, but it also empowers good law-abiding citizens to protect themselves from the evil out there. You know, I would hate to be in a fire in the middle of a forest and not have water to defend myself against the fire.
Right.
But if someone says, "Hey, there's fire hydrants everywhere, Joel. You have the ability to use them while this forest is on fire," I'm going to be really thankful that I have that right and that ability to plug a hose into that fire hydrant and defend my property or myself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say then even to the First Amendment, right? The freedom of speech has it's amazing for a lot of stuff, but parallel, I'm losing my words real quick, but like what you said with that, it comes with its benefits and its downsides. And the freedom of speech is really amazing because we can do what we're doing now and we can say what we want. You could say the N-word. I could do whatever the hell I want right now. And that's fine. That's protected. That is not protected across the globe.
Right.
But it comes with caveats. And I mean, First Amendment, that's a different story. It's funny. We're not going to talk about that on this series, guys. So don't worry. You won't hear it here. But the Second Amendment, though, do you not think, I don't know, I feel like it's too much of a blanket. If I were to criticize it, I would say it's too much of a blanket. And individually, it's one thing when you, like, even with Roe v. Wade, when they overturned that, like, oh, well, it's state to state. It's not a federal thing. Okay, well, there's a lot of gun laws in New York City, Chicago, Kentucky, fucking California, all that. Should it be a individual thing or should it be a blanket statement? Like, no, hey, if you want a gun, you get a gun. But that's also problematic. I don't know. Like, yeah, there's probably plenty of...
Here's your gun.
Here's your gun.
Here's your musket.
Either learn to use it or don't. I mean, and I think that's sort of like...
Is it more problematic in certain areas than it is others? And maybe
probably.
It's not, yeah,
absolutely. Because I mean, so I think what you're getting to is
tell me
if there's more guns means more violence. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like with this blanket?
I'm not saying more guns, like not the production of guns. It's the blanket acceptance of firearms that is ingrained so much in our culture that it's like, oh yeah, guns, that's America.
Yeah.
Like something in me tells me that that's problematic because the rest of the world doesn't have that.
I don't think that a lot of people know about all of the restrictions on getting a gun, though.
Right.
Like that are outside, like, because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know about anything about guns until I moved to North Carolina. And like talking to people and like the processes that they had to go through to get guns and like, and then when I moved back here and learned about, the process here, I was like, it's not that easy to like actually get a gun. Like they have a lot of safety precautions so that people that are deranged, or, like suicidal and stuff, like there's a waiting period. Yeah, it's interesting to actually like learn and be educated on how hard it is to actually get a gun. Because I didn't know. I mean, it was just like, oh, guns are bad. Like, no, but yeah, like they kill people. But like, I don't know. Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. And that's why I think education is so important all across the board.
Yeah, but wouldn't you argue, though, even still, despite, like, and especially Caitie and I living in a state that has some of the harshest gun control laws in the country, maybe compared to, like, New York and maybe California, I don't, Jeff can pull that up, even though it'll fuck us over. It's yet still a problem. And the bad and again, I guess, like, I'm trying to, like, catch myself on the bad actor part, because you can't defeat the argument of the Second Amendment or defend the Second Amendment because of bad actors, because bad actors will always be a thing. But how do you curb those bad actors? And then do you need more heavier federal oversight over the Second Amendment if it's ingrained in the Constitution?
Yeah.
Should the federal government have a heavier hand in the oversight of weapons trading or whatever it is, like weapons, like any gun or whatever? Or should it be left up to states to decide? But states have very different demographics. They have different, like, states are very different. We're very different than Virginia,
because there's
and
different
Chicago
types
and all
of
that.
people that live there.
But or New Jersey or wherever. But, like, okay, fine. You don't see mass shootings in Nebraska, and maybe they're good gun owning people, but they also don't have a population. I mean, there's, like, more cows than there are people.
Yeah, it starts getting hard to. Yes, there's going to be more gun violence in Chicago because there's more people there, and there's more poverty there. There's more gangs there. There's more mental health problems. There's more drug trafficking. There's more crime. So where you have these problems that I just mentioned, you're going to have more gun and violent crime. So that's why I feel like maybe that's where we need to address things. Address poverty, gangs, mental health, on top of the education.
You sound like a liberal. I don't think you're wrong at all. Yeah, maybe that's the.
Well, that's why I like the restrictions that are on owning a gun. Like, I like that it's kind of like a privilege. Like, if you're gonna go take the class, you're gonna go to the range, make sure you know how to use it. Like,
but that's where it gets dangerous, because it's not a privilege; it is a right. So in Kentucky, I have the ability. I can walk into a store, and within 3 minutes, I could walk out with a new gun. You just got to do a background check.
So it's just a background check in Kentucky. You don't have to know how to shoot it or anything.
Now, if you want to get, like, your concealed carry license, then yes, you have to do that. And that might be what it is in North Carolina. I know in Illinois, it's the same thing. In Illinois, there's a cool down period to buy the gun, but you also have to have the FOID card, which requires 16 hours of classroom training, and you have to pass a shooting test. I did that when I lived in Illinois. But Kentucky is a lot more gun friendly. They are very anti rules and regulations.
I think you should be able to shoot a golf ball.
That's your
test.
Golf
guy. Jesus Christ. I got the posters queued up at this point. My God. This fucking golf guy. I've never even seen him before.
I don't know. Have you seen, like, any, like, people do, like, trick shot type of stuff?
Shooting? Yeah. It's crazy.
Cool.
I'm sure this guy's cool. I'm surprised we've mentioned him.
What about in the Olympics? The
ones that do the skis and then shoot.
That's pretty crazy.
It's insane. Yeah.
Well, and that's just it, because there's so many different things. A lot of people are like, why do you need these weapons of war or that kind of thing? It's like, you don't need them for even home defense if that's not what you're into, because there's competition shooting, there's hunting, there's a variety of different things. Yeah. It's a sport.
I'm glad you said that. Okay, so that brought up another thing that I forgot. Okay, so this another. It's a what would be the? I'll get the term later. AR-15s. Do you think civilians, people living in their house, should have AR-15s, or is a handgun a legitimate self-defense weapon? Or do you take all of the semi-automatic rifles out of everyone's hand in America and say, hey, you can't use those. You can have a, like, I don't want to say normal gun, but is there not a problem with semi-automatic rifles? And I'm posing the question. I have some pros and cons to it.
I don't think there is, because people use that for hunting. People use it for home defense, for competition, for recreation. The Bill of Rights protects rights. It doesn't protect things that we demonstrate a need for. So, like, I should have the right to have that gun if that gun is available. I don't have to demonstrate
any gun. You think any gun? Any gun.
Yeah.
Like a fully automatic assault rifle. You should be able to have. I think
if you really look into the Constitution, if you're going to be splitting hairs, I think that it should open it up for any sort of. I think you should be able to open it up for any sort of firearm.
Interesting.
And that's where I'm like, you should learn how to use it, though, so that you don't blow your fucking hand off or whatever.
But to be able to buy a fully automatic rifle that is used to fight wars, you think people like Caitie's neighbors should have a fully automatic rifle?
They wouldn't.
If they're a law-abiding United States citizen, they should have the ability to buy it if they want it.
A fully automatic weapon.
Sure.
A weapon of war.
Sure.
Something that we go invade countries with and
because guess what? That means you can have it too. If you're that worried about your neighbor having a fully automatic weapon, then you go get one.
Ooh, fair point. Fair point. Okay.
I mean, or you can rely on the government. You can rely on the police to help you. But guess what's going to arrive at your front door first? Oh, a full magazine.
A full magazine. I would say, you know what? And we'll bring it back. Zach, friend of the show. We'll have him on eventually. He made a great point to me years ago, and he said, I would be okay if they said, if they got rid of, like, I'm paraphrasing it, and I'm kind of like doing a little creative liberty here, but he was like, well, I would be okay if they took, he probably doesn't think this way now, but he had said, like, well, if they take all my guns away, everything, it's fine. It's all or nothing. He's like, well, then you have to take everyone's guns away. He's like, I'd be okay with it if they took everyone, so no one had guns, so then you wouldn't have to worry. Like when you're saying, like, well, okay, well, this guy's got a pistol, it's like, well, you don't have to worry about it because he doesn't have a pistol, and then you don't have a fully automatic rifle. Well, yeah.
Well, in England, they can own guns for sport.
Yeah, and they're like shotguns and pussy weapons.
He was doing like an all or nothing.
I don't know, that cowboy
is American.
Christ, fucking this friend of the show. Please give me a picture. I'll make him the poster. Fucking this fucking guy.
It's top of mind.
The Zach's approach, I thought, was interesting, where he was like, well, fine, if they tell me I can't have them, take them all away, but take them all away from everyone, or let everybody have all of it. So it is like, there is like, with the Second Amendment, I think that's my frustration with it, is like, well, you should ban assault rifles, or you should ban like this and ban this. And
all or
like,
nothing.
Well, no,
like he said,
it is all. I think it is an all or nothing thing, and it's like, well, then you give, and like what Caitie made a joke, like, here's your gun. It's like, well, give everyone a free gun when you're born. Here's your gun. Here's your gun.
Right.
Then that's what it is.
If they want it, no one should be forced to take it. Well, if you don't feel comfortable with it, then I don't want you to have it.
Fine.
Can you imagine like immigrating and then being like, okay, here's your
passport, here's your social security card, and here's your Glock.
Here's your gun. Yeah, and here's your Glock.
No, I'd want it to be like like from when they made the Constitution.
No.
Like it's like
she wants one of those like pirate pistols where you
like
the flintlock, like
it would be like one of the muskets. That's your standard issued. It was in the Constitution.
So Gunnar, if you're with the all or nothing mindset, then that means that you would be in favor of having a machine gun. Because in what you're saying is like, it would be stupid to say you're allowed to have guns, but you just can't have an AR-15. So it's all or nothing.
It's funny, my name's Gunnar, and I'm like pretty like nah on the Second Amendment. But I would say you would have to do
because you don't deserve
thing.
that name.
Oh, wow!
Just
wow!
Kidding.
Wait, what was your like alter ego name? David or
Cornelius?
What?
Cornelius? Yeah.
You're being a Cornelius about guns. Don't be a Cornelius.
Who said
this? We were talking about your alter ego, or like if you went to Vegas. Like,
Gunnar, it's sad how quickly you forget past episodes.
Yeah,
our little goldfish.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, eventually we'll have those Patreons. So when I forget things, you guys, everyone else will remember. I don't remember that, but hey, I trust these two people.
It's okay.
I would say, it's 100% all or nothing. Like you have to there's other amendments that you have to get into the weeds with, but I would say the First Amendment, you can't. The Second Amendment, I think you also can't. You have to go, it's black or white. It is binary. It's not non-binary. Sorry, liberals, but it's not non-binary. Like it's either everything or nothing. I actually kind of do believe that. And you have to like either allow it, but then I do feel like you should have then, if it's in the Constitution, which is the blueprint of the federal government, then there should, well, I know it's going to sound pretty liberal, but then either you have more federal oversight and you crack down on it hardcore and make sure that it works the way it should be working, because I don't think it is, and don't let states fucking do whatever the hell they want. Either you give the people the thing or you don't. You either give them the gun or don't. Or don't be like, well, if you live in New York, you can't have guns. But if you live in Kentucky, yeah, no problem. It's fine. We're all just Southerners. We love each other. Like, yeehaw, love God and Jesus. No. Either you blanket it just like we blanket freedom of speech. Where does freedom of speech vary per state? No. It is the entire country, all 50 states. It should be the same then with the Second Amendment. Give them all fucking guns or take them all away. Like, or if you were to repeal it, then take them all away from everybody. Then you have to go hard state. Then you have to go hard fascist state where, like, no, none of you can have guns. Only the military can. Shut up. You'll be okay. And then, I don't know, which obviously is not practical. You can't take all the guns away from all the people. They're already there. None of that. That's not practical. But if you're going to go hard, like the First and Second Amendment are the two hardest amendments that anybody fights for. But it's black or white with both of them. Either you shut down free speech, or you allow it, or you give them all the guns, or you shut them all down. I feel like there's a ridiculous gray area that we fight about, that certain cities, and again, it depends on where you live and the demographic or whatever. I think we're putzing around, and it's the federal government's fault, probably. It's the state government's fault that we're putzing around with this fucking, like, well, you can have guns here, but you can't. But, oh, well, we have certain restrictions. We can't. It's like, no, make it something that everybody can fucking understand and get behind. And maybe I'm calling not for like a abolishment of that amendment. Maybe I'm calling for just some reform or something. And maybe it's not in the amendment itself, but I do feel like there has to be some sort of, we've got to update this.
Well, it sounds like you want to give it all. To say, yeah, if everyone can have a gun, everyone has a gun.
I'm okay with that. But let's fix it. We're pushing so far hard into AI and all this other shit, and we're doing all this other stuff. Let's fix the other things that are kind of problematic. And I know you can't fix everything all the time, and we'll probably be dead before anything is fixed. But you can update these things. You can make them, like, it's time for a software update. I think with a lot of amendments, and I think the Second Amendment needs a bit of a software update. I'm not against it. And I've loved shooting those guns. I had a great time at your fucking house. And I wish I had one. But, I don't know.
You can
I've never shot a gun.
I can get
Caitie,
one.
next time you come over.
It's a shitload of fun. It's a fucking amazing thing. I don't know.
I have dainty wrists.
You know what I think, Joel?
So does Gunnar.
You've kind of enlightened me. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But I do think you enlightened me a little bit more. I didn't. Some of your little points there, I didn't really think of, and I think that was
really good.
Yeah, I kind of
see. Then it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah. Well, we had a good conversation. I don't know that I'm. Yeah.
No, I took away.
Complaints.
You said that all or nothing. So give them all the guns because you're pro gun. You said you're okay with guns. And the gray area. I mean, that's the problem. That's what makes it really hard.
The gray area. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard, but.
And I think it's unfair, even with like Roe v. Wade. Like either, well, obviously it was nixed, so they were not federally protected. No woman in the country. Then it depended on your state. So you can't go to Alabama. Quote me, Jeff. Oh, fuck Jeff. But I think one of those southern states, you can't go get an abortion. Well, you can come to Illinois and do it, but it's like, well, that's weird, and I don't like that. I think that's fucked up, and that's fine. That's a whole Roe v. Wade's a whole other conversation. But it's also like, well, if I go to New York, I can't depending, I'm sure they have their own concealed carry laws and all that other shit. But if I go to North Carolina or Kentucky or Alabama, it's a much looser thing. And I feel like when we start to like lose that, I feel like there's the problem. Because it might not be a problem right now. Like no one in Alabama is like going to a school or a church or blowing anybody up right now. But that gray area allows that to happen.
But the Second Amendment can prevent that from happening.
Well,
so if everybody had a gun and they draw it,
yes, but then okay, well then there you go. That's the point where it comes back. Well then, hey, your baby's just born. here's your gun.
you
Then
think
that's
that
what
it
you
would
have to
help
do. That's what you would have to do. You'd have to give everybody
You
a
don't
gun.
have to. If they want a gun, they should be able to get it. You can't force someone to have a gun.
No, and again, and I know I'm making a bad argument for bad
I mean, you
actors,
could.
but at the same time, when you have those gray areas, bad actors exploit those gray areas, and they do that. And I think when it comes to the Constitution, do we have a gray area in the First Amendment? No, it's literally that's it. Like private organizations and social media can, play around with it, but they're private. But the First Amendment says I can say whatever the hell I want on this podcast right now, and I will not go to jail for it. Now in Britain, you can't do that. Shout out to Britain, friend of the show. Caitie will update you guys when she gets there. But when we do that, when you have those gray areas, people will exploit those gray areas, and I think that's a problem. I guess I'm calling for reform, if anything. I'm not calling for a abolishment of the Second Amendment. I'm calling for some sort of reform on a federal level that can stabilize things. And that is a pretty left fucking leaning thing to say. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. And I'd love to be proven wrong. But I think fundamentally that's how I feel. I don't know. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. You opened my eyes, dude. I thought I was going to come in hot and fucking, but you brought up some good points, dude. I got to say. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, he got me there. There's a couple. I was like, okay, that's fair.
When they wrote these amendments, going back to immigration, like the people that were here were white. Those were the citizens. It wasn't like I don't think that they were thinking a lot about like the wrong people coming into the country and getting access to guns and stuff. Like it was like, oh, the people that are coming here, like I don't know,
they're all like-minded, and we need to defend ourselves to make sure that we don't ever turn back into what we just came from.
Well, I think what Caitie was getting to, which I'll take another creative look.
You're gonna mansplain it?
Well, no, I'm not trying. I'm just I know where she was going.
Let's be real.
No, what I'm saying is I think I know what she's getting at. Whereas, like in the sense to remember. In 1776, these guys could they have imagined a trillionaire? Could they have imagined school shootings and fucking the Detroit riots and like all the shit? Of course they couldn't have. They couldn't have possibly. They thought, hey, we're gonna lay this document out. We think this is great because we have to defend against these fucking idiots, the limey bastards. Sorry, no offense to you, England.
Some offense.
Some offense. Yeah, America 250, but. A friend of the show, America. You have to also give that perspective. You have to they had no idea what they were. I mean, to an extent, they had principles, but I think what she's getting is they would have no idea like the mass immigration crisis that we've had, like terrible actors that have came and found loopholes and found ways to actually terrorize the country.
So what you're saying
disregards for humans.
Right. What you're saying is they had no idea how badly the Democratic Party was going to destroy America.
Those are your words.
I think they just didn't understand the
you're
evolution of fuckery that
and they couldn't.
Has been going on.
Yeah, and they couldn't. How could you? You can't blame them for that. But they gave us a document that we can amend, that we can change, that we can do all these things to. They laid at least the foundation, like, hey guys, if this doesn't work later, guess what? We gave you a little fucking option here to just change it. And it's like, oh, awesome. That's amazing. Most other countries don't have that. So it's like, it's a beautiful thing about America. So
I guess, so these are good problems to have. These are good debates to have because a lot of countries don't even have the opportunity to have this sort of conversation because there's nothing to converse about. You can't do this. You can't do that.
No, you could have lived in Iran. Yeah. Or Iran. Sorry.
Iran.
Iran. Yeah. You could live there. Yeah. You don't have a constitution, but yeah.
Well, those are my thoughts on the Second Amendment. It's something that's really important to me, and I hold my values are built around the Second Amendment and freedom and making sure that there's, nothing threatening my family and there's no overreaching government and just the checks and balances. I think it's kind of important.
It is, dude. I got to enjoy the Second Amendment at your house. It was an amazing experience. I loved every second of it. It was terrifying. because those are some big guns. But it was fun as fuck. It was cool. And I got to see a part of it that I was like, well, then, I got to see a part of it that I thought it was stupid, but opened my eyes a little bit. I thought it was like really cool. I was like, no, it's cool, quote unquote. In a way, but it's also important. Do I wish I had a gun right now in case somebody fucking broke through? Well, you can't see it now, but some window right now. Like, I wish I had a gun to stab him, because that's what you do with guns. As you stab people with guns.
So you need some education.
I need some education. See, I'm not educated.
You could have a bayonet on the end of your gun, right?
That would be good. Yeah,
that's true.
I need an old. Oh God, what's the M1 Garand, right, Joel?
Yeah,
yeah. If I had an M1 Garand right now and he jumped in during the podcast, I'd just like stab him. And I could be totally wrong. I don't know if they put bayonets on M1 Garands.
Yeah,
but,
I think so.
If I wish I had a gun. I don't have a gun. But I do wish I did. Yeah.
And luckily for you have the rights to buy a gun.
That's well said, sir. Well said.
What about in the future when there's like laser gun?
Well, then I want the right to have a laser gun.
Wow, there's a clip. Laser guns. Yeah. Welcome to Star Wars episode 10. Jesus Christ.
You can't see my Boba Fett, but he's back there.
Well, when we get blasters and stormtroopers are above us.
Terrible shots.
Well, yeah. Hopefully we get the technology right by then. Yeah. I would love to shoot lasers at people. Yeah. But
did the stormtroopers like not even have like tactical training? Why were they so bad?
They didn't go to gun classes.
They were just thrown in there.
It's a big bloated bureaucratic empire, and that's why the stormtroopers weren't good, because they didn't have the rights. They were just given the guns. Right. Okay.
So maybe we shouldn't give them at birth.
They were like,
oh, I see what you did there, sir. I see what you did there. Okay. Well played, sir. Well played. Yeah. Well played. You held your ground well, my friend. And you opened my eyes.
There you have it. The Second Amendment. It's what holds all of the rest of our freedoms together. And it protects all of us with a nice, fuzzy, warm, comfortable blanket to make sure that all of us have the rights that we need to be productive United States citizens.
You got a warm, fuzzy barrel protecting you. God bless America.
Bless
America.